First Contact Protocol Breach. The galactic scout ship Eternal Curiosity dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Sol system, its advanced stealth systems humming with confidence. Captain Vextra, a veteran of countless first contact missions, stood on the bridge with her 4 arms clasped behind her back, crystalline eyes fixed on the blue-green planet ahead. "Begin standard preliminary scan," she ordered, her mandibles clicking with practiced precision. "Let's see what kind of primitive civilization we're dealing with." Her science officer, Christ, initiated the scan sequence. "Captain, these humans appear to be at development level 3. Basic space exploration. Primitive AI. Limited genetic engineering. Should be an easy." The ship's alarms suddenly blazed to life. Christ's appendages flew across his console in panic. "Captain, multiple unknown energy signatures activating across the planet's surface." Before Vextra could respond, a transmission cut through their supposedly unbreakable encryption. The voice spoke in perfect galactic standard, its tone almost amused. "Greetings, Eternal Curiosity. You are currently in violation of Galactic Protocol 7249 Alpha. Unauthorized scanning of a sovereign world. Please power down your systems and prepare for escort to our nearest diplomatic facility." Vextra's crystalline eyes widened as she watched dozens of vessels materialize around her ship, each one incorporating technology that shouldn't exist outside of theoretical papers. Some designs she recognized from ancient archives, others were completely foreign. A impossible fusion of multiple technological eras. "Impossible," she whispered. "Your civilization is classified as pre-FTL. You shouldn't have." "Oh, that classification." The human voice chuckled. "We found it convenient to maintain. Makes it much easier to study how different species approach first contact. Speaking of which, your scan just became part of our common first contact mistakes archive. Don't worry, we'll make sure to document it properly." As tractor beams gently but firmly took hold of her ship, Vextra realized that her routine mission had just become a galaxy-changing incident. The humans hadn't been hiding in fear. They'd been taking notes. The archive revelation. The Galactic Council's emergency session chamber hadn't seen this much activity since the Great Nebula Crisis of Cycle 47,392. Representatives from 17 major spacefaring civilizations sat in stunned silence as they watched a holographic display showing the interior of what humans called the observatory. Deep within Earth's moon, stretching for hundreds of kilometers, lay the most comprehensive collection of alien technology ever assembled. Each exhibit was immaculately preserved, documented, and labeled with both its origin and the date of its acquisition. As you can see, Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's chief xenorchaeologist, gestured to a particularly impressive display. "This section contains every probe and scout ship that's attempted to scan Earth in the last 3 centuries. We find they make excellent teaching aids for our xenotechnology students." Ambassador Zixtel of the Meridian Collective raised a trembling appendage. That's our long-lost Pathfinder 7 mission. We thought it was destroyed in a solar flare." "Oh yes." Dr. Chen smiled warmly, consulting her datapad. "Pathfinder 7, attempted covert scan of Earth in 2187. Lovely piece of technology. The quantum masking field was particularly innovative. We've incorporated several of its principles into our own designs, with some improvements, of course." "Improvements?" Zixtal's voice cracked. "Indeed. Would you like to see the test results? We've maintained detailed documentation of every modification and enhancement we've made to acquired technologies. Our archivists are quite thorough." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices as various representatives recognized their own lost missions among the displays. Dr. Chen waited patiently until the commotion settled. "The really interesting part," she continued, activating a new hologram, "is how many of you tried the exact same approach. We've identified 47 distinct patterns in first contact attempts. It's fascinating from an anthropological perspective. There's a paper being published next month if anyone's interested. But why? The archon of the stellar concordat finally managed to ask, why maintain this charade of being a primitive civilization? Dr. Chen's expression turned serious. Observation bias. The moment a species knows it's being watched, it changes its behavior. We needed to understand how the galactic community truly operates, its technologies, its cultures, its diplomatic approaches. And the best way to do that was to let everyone think they were dealing with simple primitives who hadn't even achieved unified planetary governance. She gestured, and the hologram shifted to show a vast database interface. We've compiled the most extensive xenological database in known space. Every species, every civilization, every technological advancement, all carefully documented and cross-referenced. Did you know that 82% of spacefaring races develop faster than light travel before they solve their own climate crisis? The statistical patterns are fascinating. The chamber had grown so quiet you could hear the quantum fluctuations in the air processors. The implications were starting to sink in. Humanity hadn't just been hiding their advancement. They'd been conducting the largest anthropological study in galactic history. Of course, Dr. Chen added, her smile returning. Now that our existence is known, we're excited to move into a more collaborative phase. We've prepared comprehensive technology sharing proposals, cultural exchange programs, and educational initiatives. All the proper forms have been filed in triplicate. And Aide whispered something in her ear, and she checked her datapad again. And it seems Captain Vextra's ship has finished processing through our intake procedures. Would anyone like to join me for a tour of our new acquisition? The engineering team has some fascinating questions about the quantum field harmonics in the propulsion system. As the stunned representatives tried to process this invitation, a new hologram appeared showing the eternal curiosity, now perfectly restored and mounted in a massive display hall. The placard beneath it read, "Example of late-period stealth technology. Donated by the Galactic Scout Fleet, 2025. Noteworthy for its innovative but flawed approach to quantum camouflage. The galaxy would never be the same." The negotiation table. The Galactic Council's high chamber, traditionally a place of measured debate and careful diplomatic maneuvering, had been transformed into something resembling a university lecture hall. Dr. Marcus Wong, Earth's head of xenotechnological integration, stood before the assembled representatives, his presentation titled 3 Millennia of Observation, a human perspective on galactic development, hovering in the air behind him. "Let's address the quantum elephant in the room," Dr. Wong began, adjusting his ancient-looking glasses, which, unbeknownst to his audience, contained more computing power than most starships. "Yes, humanity has been collecting your technology. Yes, we've been studying your civilizations. And yes, we've been systematically documenting everything. But more importantly, we've been learning from your mistakes." He gestured, and the hologram shifted to show a spectacular series of failed invasion attempts, each one meticulously preserved and annotated. Take the Zixatherian conquest fleet of 2157. Impressive ships, cutting-edge weapons, absolutely terrible scan shielding. They're now part of our common tactical errors exhibit. The gift shop does quite well with plush toys of their flagship. Several Zixatherian representatives sank lower in their seats. "But here's what fascinates us," Wong continued, his expression brightening with genuine academic enthusiasm. "Every species, every civilization, develops remarkable solutions to universal problems. The Meridian Collective's approach to quantum computing. Brilliant. The Stellar Concordat's biomural interfaces. Revolutionary. The problem is, none of you talk to each other. You're all so busy competing that you miss the obvious synergies." The hologram shifted again, showing a vast network of interconnected technological developments across different species. Humanity's greatest strength is in our technology. It's our ability to see patterns, to make connections, to take diverse ideas, and combine them in new ways. We're not just collectors, we're synthesizers. A representative from the Eternal Harmony cluster raised a glowing appendage. But why reveal yourselves now? Why not continue your observations? Wang smiled. Because the galaxy is changing. We've detected 13 different civilizations on the verge of developing technologies that could destabilize the entire sector. 3 more are experimenting with dimensional rifts that they really shouldn't be. And don't get me started on whoever's been playing with time paradoxes in the Carina Nebula. The room grew very quiet as several representatives tried to look innocent. We believe it's time for a more coordinated approach to galactic development, Wang continued. Earth is proposing the establishment of the Universal Heritage Initiative. Think of it as a combination of a museum, a research institute, and a galactic preservation society. He paused, letting his next words carry weight. We're not interested in ruling the galaxy. We're interested in understanding it, preserving it, and helping it grow sustainably. And yes, we've already filed all the necessary paperwork for this proposal, in triplicate, with temporal timestamps. The hologram shifted one final time, showing a massive new structure under construction in Earth orbit. Welcome to the future of galactic cooperation. Our first exhibition, 2 million years of really interesting mistakes, opens next month. Early bird tickets are still available. As the representatives began furious discussions among themselves, a small notification appeared on Wang's glasses. Another unauthorized probe had just entered the solar system. He smiled slightly. Some lessons, it seemed, had to be learned firsthand. The learning curve. The Universal Heritage Initiative's main atrium buzzed with activity as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for what humans had dubbed Orientation Day. Floating holographic signs in hundreds of languages directed visitors to various exhibitions, workshops, and lecture halls. The most popular destination, somewhat ironically, was a seminar titled, "So You Tried to Invade Earth," a retrospective. Professor Amelia Jackson, Earth's senior curator of failed invasions, stood before a packed auditorium. Her audience included several species whose attempted conquests were currently on display in the museum's West Wing. The interesting thing about invasion strategies, she began, gesturing to a holographic timeline, is how little they've evolved over the centuries. We've documented 1,547 distinct attempts to conquer, study, or make first contact with Earth. The pattern is almost always the same. Scan from a distance, assume we're primitive based on surface readings, and proceed without proper intelligence gathering. She highlighted a particular incident. The Hexarian Unity fleet of 2189 is a perfect example. Impressive battle formations, exceptional weaponry, but they completely missed the fact that we'd already reverse-engineered their shield frequencies from their advanced scouts. Their dreadnoughts are now part of our children's interactive learning center. The kids especially enjoy pressing the big red buttons that used to launch planet crackers. The Hexarian representatives in the audience shifted uncomfortably in their seats. But today isn't about past mistakes, Jackson continued, her tone becoming more encouraging. It's about learning from them. Which brings us to our new initiative, the Galactic Preservation and Innovation Exchange Program. The hologram shifted to show a massive new complex under construction near Mars. This facility will serve as the galaxy's first truly collaborative research and development center. Species working together, sharing insights, combining technologies in ways never before attempted. And yes, we'll document everything. A tentacled being near the front raised an appendage. But how can we trust that humans won't use this knowledge against us? Jackson smiled. An excellent question. The answer is simple. We already have most of your technology. What we're interested in isn't domination. It's innovation, collaboration, discovery. Did you know that when we combine meridian quantum computing with concordat bioneural interfaces, we discovered 17 new forms of consciousness? The research paper is available in the gift shop, by the way. The hologram shifted again, showing a series of successful collaborations already underway. The Eternal Harmony Cluster's experts are working with human musicians to create entirely new forms of music. Zextherian engineers are helping us revolutionize zero-point energy by looking at it from new angles. And just last week, a joint human-Hexarian team discovered a way to make faster-than-light travel actually comfortable. The galaxy is entering a new age, Jackson continued, her expression serious but optimistic. Not one of competition and conquest, but of preservation and progress. Earth's role isn't to rule, it's to remember, to document, to understand, and most importantly, to share what we learn. She paused as her neural implant notified her of an incoming message. And speaking of learning opportunities, it seems another unauthorized scout ship just entered the solar system. Would anyone like to watch the acquisition process in real time? We've added a new observation deck to the intake facility. As the audience filed out, following the floating signs to the observation area, Jackson checked the scout ship's details. It was using a cloaking system that Earth had documented and improved upon 3 centuries ago. Some lessons, it seemed, needed to be experienced to be truly understood. A new galactic order. 1 year after Earth's revelation to the galactic community, the Sol system had become the busiest hub of interstellar activity in known space. The massive ring structure orbiting Earth's moon, officially named the Nexus of Universal Heritage, gleamed with the combined technological achievements of 1,000 worlds. Director Elena Rodriguez stood in her office at the apex of the Nexus, watching ships from across the galaxy arrive through designated diplomatic corridors. Each vessel represented a different species, a different approach to technology, a different story to be preserved and understood. Director, her AI assistant materialized beside her desk. The Galactic Council's annual review committee has arrived. They're quite eager to see the results of our first year of open cooperation. Elena smiled, remembering how that same council had initially reacted to discovering humanity's true nature. Let's not keep them waiting. Begin the tour protocol. The committee members, representing 17 of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations, found themselves in what appeared to be a standard conference room. Until, with a subtle gesture from Elena, the walls dissolved to reveal they were actually standing in a vast temporal observation chamber. Welcome to Project Concordance, Elena began, as timelines manifested around them. What you're seeing is the most comprehensive analysis of galactic technological development ever compiled. 3,000 years of human observation, combined with 1 year of open collaboration, has led to some remarkable discoveries. The chamber filled with interconnected webs of innovation, showing how different species technologies could complement each other in unexpected ways. By combining Zextherian quantum mechanics with meridian bioengineering and human theoretical frameworks, we've increased average ship efficiency by 300%. Disease rates across known space have dropped by 47%. And yes, we finally solved the universal problem of vending machines taking your money without dispensing the product. Several representatives nodded appreciatively at that last point. But perhaps our most significant achievement, Elena continued, as the display shifted to show a new sector of space, is this. We call it the preservation zone, a region where species just entering their space age can develop naturally, without interference. They'll be protected, monitored, and allowed to grow at their own pace, just as humanity did, or at least as everyone thought we did. The committee members watched in fascination as the display showed dozens of young civilizations taking their first steps into the cosmos. Every species deserves the chance to find their own path, Elena explained. Our role isn't to guide them directly, but to ensure they have that opportunity, to preserve their achievements, learn from their innovations, and be ready to welcome them into the galactic community when they're ready. A soft chime interrupted her presentation. Perfect timing. Would anyone like to witness something special? A civilization in the Orion Arm just achieved their first faster-than-light flight. The chamber shifted again, showing a small ship breaking the light barrier for the first time. The joy and triumph of its crew were palpable even across the vast distance. This is why we do what we do, Elena said softly. Not to rule, not to conquer, but to preserve these moments. to ensure that every achievement, every discovery, every step forward is remembered and honored. She turned to face the committee directly. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology. It was our curiosity, our desire to understand, our drive to remember and learn from everything we encountered. And now, we invite all of you to join us in this mission. The chamber returned to its conference room appearance, but something had changed. The committee members saw their surroundings differently now, not as a display of human power, but as an archive of galactic achievement, a testament to the importance of preservation, understanding, and cooperation. Now then, Elena smiled, checking her quantum-linked datapad. Shall we discuss the proposed expansion of the preservation zone? And yes, don't worry. We've already filed all the necessary paperwork. In triplicate, of course. As the committee began their deliberations, a small alert appeared in Elena's peripheral vision. Another unauthorized scout ship had just entered the solar system, its crew undoubtedly believing they were about to make first contact with a primitive world. Elena smiled. Some lessons were best learned through experience, and Earth's museum always had room for one more exhibit. The end.